Hello, air signs. I am so excited for this reading for you. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. I am going to be doing a little crystal reading for you guys and a modern tarot reading, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. I have pulled the blue lace agate for you guys. I'm going to try and get to focus. This is one of my all-time favorite crystals because it's just so dreamy and so light. So I think right now it's kind of interesting, especially like over this next month, you guys, maybe this weight that you've been feeling is really going to lighten up, and it's going to kind of feel like a bit more of a dreamy month. It's going to feel very contrasted with maybe what you guys have been feeling over the past little while, especially over the past year. This is a time where synchronicities, angels, dreams are going to be so vibrant and so in your face. So maybe taking down starting a journal would be really important. Starting to notice it more, maybe, starting a dream journal, and then maybe starting even like a little bit of a spiritual journal if you haven't already. Just like start noting down any animals you see outside, or just like patterns you start seeing. You're like, I keep noticing this certain type of tree. I wonder what that means. Or I keep noticing this animal, or like I only see animals at like this kind of animal at this time. You know what I mean? You'll start to pick up on all these like little weird synchronicities. Even like angel numbers will be a big thing. So seeing repeating numbers a lot of times, where you're like, I keep seeing the numbers like 444, for example, or something like that. And I really feel like things are going to start like getting pieced together, and from this month you're really going to be laying down these like solid foundations for a really big kind of spiritual shift in your life. Things are going to be feeling, like I said, lighter, more dreamy, so spending more time in nature to kind of like embrace that would feel really good. But the other thing with all this is like when we kind of get like our head in the clouds, and it's not a bad thing. It's like it's this beautiful state of being that you really deserve, especially after this maybe more difficult year, or just how things have been going. Is like really try to find things that also ground you, because as you start to embrace this dreamy state where things are really flowing, there's angel numbers all around, etc., you're gonna feel like you can kind of get lost and then captured in it. And so thus a lot of the things that you used to rely on, or relationships and stuff, might start feeling a little bit neglected. It's almost like as if you go away on vacation and you leave your plants at home and you forget to water them or ask someone to water them. It's like it's important to kind of have these things that ground you, that remind you to take care of the things that you've cultivated so far that you really care about, whether that's friendships or mindsets, routines. Like it's going to be really easy to just kind of get caught up in life, and things are going to be moving really quickly, and you're going to be starting to find new relationships or a new job, whatever it is, and it's really just going to be flowing that it's going to start kind of picking up the pace, and it might begin to feel a little bit overstimulated. So it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's the case for everyone in the earth signs. However, if you find that things are feeling really fast-paced, like things are going at a mile a minute, there's a lot of new information coming to you, there's a lot of spiritual shifts happening in your life, finding things to ground you. So kind of the opposite of that would be to embrace more earthly things, whether that be spending time outside, spending time with a tree, kind of gardening, starting up, taking care of your plants even inside, or just like moving things around, finding things to ground you, whether that's meditation or music, finding things that really keep almost like this. It's like as if you were astral projecting and you were trying to keep like your body within this realm. Like that's the energy I almost feel. Is like I feel like these like air signs are going to go through a mass, very big collective spiritual shift. And I feel like they're going to be kind of like almost ahead of the game compared to the other signs, in a sense, where in terms of, when I say ahead of the game, I mean, I think because they see things very clearly and you are in this dreamy state, you have less hesitancy about welcoming in this new energy compared to other signs. And then other signs, maybe, a couple weeks or a month later, will start feeling like that collective energy, but you guys are feeling it. And you're also here, like these, for this air sign and for these, this crystal, you are here to also bring about and encourage the shift in other people. You are here to be the light at the end of the tunnel for a lot of different people right now. I feel like because you're going to be entering this more dreamy state, you're going to be encouraging your friends to kind of embrace more childlike things or creative adventures, or just kind of dream more. And you might be feeling a bit frustrated right now because people might be getting caught up, or over the next month you might be feeling this way. It's like you might get frustrated because people will be caught up in kind of like, their physical realm, or just like drama or things with work, and you're going to be embracing the spiritual, like sense of yourself where things feel a bit like, more exciting and lighter, and you're going to kind of maybe get frustrated and want to basically be like, well, like teach people to incorporate this more lighter side of themselves that they might be forgetting. They might be forgetting the spiritual side because they're so caught up in this realm. So setting boundaries is really important, but I honestly mostly feel like it's less of a boundary thing and it's more of like, you're here to bring about this energy for other people. You guys are the healers in this cycle. You guys are the ones here to teach people to kind of lighten their energy, be more dreamy, release more of the physical realm, because I think there's kind of like this collective trauma that's going on. And, even if you're someone who is experiencing like these difficulties in your life as well, you are both someone who is a healer and someone who is healing. Everybody assumes that role. And just watching your inner critic during this time, like if you find yourself being like, oh, I can't help other people heal, like I have this healing to do. It's like, no, everyone is both a healer and someone who needs healing. Everyone is both a student and a teacher. You are here to help bring about that shift. So really embracing that and asking yourself like how you can step up to those opportunities within your community or with your friendships to kind of teach people to kind of release from these everyday struggles that are always going to be there, and kind of, I think a lot of people are feeling like this weight, or like there's so much information that they're trying to gather and work through right now. And you guys are all here to help people embrace the lighter side of themselves so that they can feel a little bit more healed. And I just referenced this in one of the other Earth signs reading, but the quote I feel like is just a collective quote right now that I'm going to reference is from Ram Dass, and he said something along the lines of, the best thing you can do for yourself is the best thing you can do for others is take care of yourself, and the best thing I can do for you is take care of myself. So it's basically to say, if we rely our healing and our happiness on other people, we're kind of always going to be chasing something. It's going to be it's not sustainable. However, when we take care of ourselves, not only do we feel healed, but we become better support and community members for other people. So this is the time to really embrace this like creative, dreamy, fun, light part of yourself, especially this month. You've always earned it. You're, once again, watching that inner critic voice that says, I'm not worthy of this joy or happiness, or like if you have any guilt about feeling this light energy, like don't. You're not taught to, or this isn't the time to shy away from that energy. It's actually the time to embrace it and then share it with others. So once again, this healing that's happening within yourself, and then as that's transpiring, you're able to be a better support to other community members as well. So we're going to pick some cards for you guys, see what's going on with the air signs, see if there's anything that they should know over this next month. I feel like there's a few in here. I kind of feel like, okay, air signs. I feel like, what do my air signs want to know? I feel like the energy of one card being like a lot. So how I shuffle, because sometimes people are like, how are you shuffling? Is that as I shuffle and I set my intention, I usually feel like a card as if it's like heavier. It's as if it's like as if I was holding like a, this like light branch, and then there was like a rock in the deck. I'm like, okay, which one's heavier? So I've picked out 3 for you guys. I'm going to flip them over. Ooh, these are all really positive and good cards. And we're going to start with the first, which is the 9 of Cups. And as you can see here, there's a creative element. It kind of feels like almost like this is your time to have fun, dress up, go dancing. And behind you are these 9 cups, which basically to me is symbolizing like these are kind of like the accomplishments that you have achieved. This is all kind of this is almost like your wealth. And I don't mean wealth necessarily as material wealth, but like this is your time to look at all that it is that you carry that you can share with others, whether that is, sharing material goods such as like plants or donations or etc., but also like about like your energy. Like, do you have creative gifts you want to share? Do you have intuitive gifts you want to share with the world? And it doesn't always have to be in a capitalistic way where you're doing it to make money, etc. It's like, what do you have for your community that you can share right now? Like, what are your gifts? Do you have intuitive gifts? Do you have creative gifts? Everyone does have gifts that they naturally can tap into and share with others, and this is your time to look at all these different gifts that you have. And if you've been feeling like you don't have these intuitive gifts, you don't have these creative gifts, or you don't have stuff like positive things you can share with the world, this card is here to tell you, like, yes, you do. And you might not see it because, as you can see, this person's kind of facing away from it, but it doesn't mean that they don't exist. They're all here. They're waiting to be tapped into. You just have to ask yourself, what really matters to you and your purpose, and what is it that you want to share with the world? What difference do you want to make in the world? Do you want people to feel healthier? Do you want things to be more accessible? Do you want to be donating your time, your energy, your money towards certain causes? Do you want to be supporting people? And then really starting to act from a place where you can encourage that. And once again, this is like a more fun, creative, playful stage rather than like a serious, like almost like I have to go out and get a job and help, to be able to help people in these situations. This feels more like this is your personal passion and this is what you want to share from the world, and it's not about the profits, and it's not about taking things seriously. It's about what it is that you want to share, what's a part of your passion and purpose. That's the key words, passion and purpose. What do you feel like these 9 of Cups would carry if those carried all your passions and purposes for both yourself and what you have to share with the world? Once again, taking care of yourself, and also how you take care of yourself, being able to be at this version of yourself that you also help other people. We also have the 9 of Pentacles. This is one of my favorite cards. I absolutely love it. As you can see, there's this garden, there's like this bounty, abundance, which I feel like really complements this. It's like, this is another card that's about like sharing what it is that you have created. So when you plant a seed, it's like you're not at the stage to be sharing your wealth, whether that's in like food or, sharing your gifts, whatever it is. It's like almost like you've taken the time to grow. You've like chosen the seeds you wanted to plant. You planted them, you nurtured them. They're at this point where they're blossoming, and there's so many, like there's 9 pentacles, and you have all this abundance to share with other people. And this isn't the time to shy away from it. Like, watch this inner critic that tries to tell you that you're not worthy, or who am I to share this with the world? It's like, we are all here collectively together to support ourselves and to help support other people. You have so much to share with other people. And once again, these two are kind of giving you a similar messages. Like, if you try to say you're not ready to share, just acknowledge like how much time and effort and energy you've taken to choose the seed that you want to plant it, watch it grow, nurture it. And this applies to both like things that you've manifested and have now come into fruition, and also your intuitive gifts, your creative gifts, all these things. It's like, it's really easy to get caught up in this kind of mindset of being like, I'm not ready to share, I'm not ready to do this. It's like, yes, you are. You have so much. Like, when you see this picture, it's like, there's so much like and more that they have enough to get by for themselves, and anything extra would just go to waste because they almost have too much. And it's kind of their role to be like you. It's like a community garden. It's like, I've planted, let's say, all these tomatoes and I can't eat them all, so I'm going to share with my community. It's like, that's the mindset you should have towards what your gifts are, your natural intuitive gifts, your natural creative gifts, whatever it is. Like, this is your time to step into this role. And that doesn't mean necessarily like posting it on social media or, going out and doing like a big thing. It's like, it can be as simple as being like, okay, I really want to like do like little surprise gift baskets for my friends, or I want to go to this center, like this women's shelter, and donate my clothes, or whatever it is. It's like, it can be sharing your art, on the internet. Like, all these things apply, but it doesn't have, like, when you find yourself being like, oh, well, I can't do that, it's like, okay, well, there is something you can do. Maybe for example, you're like, oh, I can't share my writing on the internet because I'm not a writer. It's like, yes, you are, but your mind or your inner critic is going to try and convince you, be like, I can't do this because of this obstacle, this obstacle, this obstacle. It's like, if it's actually a boundary or an obstacle, then it will be explicitly shown. But a lot of times it is kind of like our inner critic being like, I'm not worthy, I'm not ready, who am I to help teach someone else, etc. It's like, no, you have done all this work, so really appreciate how far you come. And once again, we talked about like these synchronicities with the animals, and as you can see, there's this bird right on top of this person's head, and they must be kind of aware of it, but also birds are so light that maybe that they're not. So once again, this is like another sign to be like very aware of your natural surroundings. If you've been seeing reoccurring animals and stuff, and it's like, sometimes you can't even see your angels. They're just like right above here. They're hiding. But they are in this natural world. So starting to like take note of it and be like, oh, I keep seeing these type of birds, etc. And like, you can even look into their messages, and it'd be very interesting to see kind of like what you start picking up on it. Like, as you start to notice these synchronicities, you're like, hey, well, you know, I associate, let's say, like, you know, a turtle, and I keep seeing turtles everywhere, for example. Anytime I go to like the pond, or like I'm walking, you know, if you're like living in more of like a wetlands area, you're like, I always see turtles. And it's always kind of like when I'm feeling a bit burnt out, it's like that could be a message to slow down and retreat and take care of yourself. You know what I mean? It's like there's these synchronicities that are trying to come into your life, and like angels are kind of trying to communicate through animals and these messages, and you really need to tune in and notice them, and just like, yeah, very nurturing yourself and nurturing community vibe. And last but not least, we have the Two of Cups, and this is a very beautiful card. There's a need for balance. We got the Leo energy up here, and almost like working to balance your both like your feminine and masculine side, and also the emotional realm with the physical realm. There's a lighthouse, which once again, especially with this, we are in the hazel tree lunar cycle right now, so it's very much like that energy is the epitome of like light at the end of the tunnel. This is kind of like the light at the end of, like, you know, how do I explain this? It's like if you see a lighthouse and you keep going towards it, eventually you'll reach it. It's like the same thing with the light at the end of the tunnel. So I also want to, for some reason, say the quote, "The wound is where the light enters," which is by Rumi. So maybe that will resonate with you guys if you've been feeling like you almost have gone through these difficulties, and in a weird way, as you keep moving forward through it and actually working through it, and you see this growth, it's actually kind of making you feel a little bit more underlyingly spiritual, because you see the world with this new lens and this new perspective. So that's all there. You might be feeling a little bit more emotional, but once again, like having the earthly things, like the things to ground you, whether that's music or, you know, writing, art, you know, hanging out with people who are more grounding energies to you, like having these things to balance out this spiritual, dreamy, emotional realm that you guys are going to be really in during this cycle. Just finding things that are going to really ground you and kind of complement that, so you don't feel like you get too lost in the cosmos, if that makes sense. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed your reading. Feel free to leave a comment or tag or share with another air sign. I also am doing all the other signs as well. If you feel like donating, it's not necessary. However, it's always appreciated, so I can continue to do these services as accessibly as possible. I also do personal readings, and I have some courses going on. I have the tree course, which I mentioned with the Hazel Cycle, which is my all-time favorite course. It's super, super cool. Also by donation. We have an amazing group of people, and you can come join us live. You can catch replays. It's super accessible, also by donation. And yeah, everything's in the link in my bio if you'd like to donate towards this reading. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll chat soon. Bye!